I'm Kevin Boyd.
I'm Sarah Boyd, and we live right out here off of Clear Creek.
We've lived out here on Reed Valley for about 8 years. And we came out and looked at it and kind of fell in love with it. Sarah really liked the old house, and I liked the property. Part of what we both liked about the property was Clear Creek here on our property. There are some issues with it, with erosion, and that's what we want to talk to you a little bit about today.
We love our creek. We come down here. We pretty much spend a ton of time down here in the summer. Kevin will fish, and the kids will swim, and I'll bring my book and my chair. I've seen lots of wildlife down here. I'll watch the otters swim and things like that.
When we first moved in 8 years ago, we did notice that there was some erosion directly behind us on this creek bank, but not anything like it is today. So probably for the first 4 years, not a big deal. We could see a little bit of erosion, but then we started getting concerned about that time. But there were some pretty major floods, and the creek can get out of its banks with these significant rainfalls. And we started seeing some land erosion, and I'm not talking about just a little bit of erosion. It was, losing maybe 2 and 3 feet of creek bank at a time with each significant rainfall.
We have 7 acres, and the bottom 7 is here at the creek, and it was up near the house.
We do worry about the land here that is in the floodplain, and just all the damage that the floods cause.
It caused a lot of damage in our garden. It was completely pretty much wiped out. We had 4x4 cement posts that we had put in, and they were washed completely out. Our house is then set up a little higher, so we were good at the house, but some of our neighbors had water damage at the house since their houses are closer and further down.
Our house was an older house whenever we bought it 8 years ago. It was built in the early 60s, so we've put a lot of time and effort into remodeling that house, and it still goes on today. And
the land.
But we've put a lot of time and effort and money into this property. And so we want it to be here forever. We want it to be here for our kids if they ever decide that they want to stay here and want this house, or our grandkids if they want that, if they want this piece of property. We want it to be here for them. So
we knew that the creek would erode or change or whatever when we bought the house. We had talked to neighbors and things like that, but we didn't really know the extent of it until those first floods and things started those first few years. And so now that we've been here 8 years and seen the extent of it, a few years ago we started looking around, what can we do to save our creek, because this is our forever home, and we want the creek to stay here. Hopefully in the next few years we can get a project going to save it. So.